Good evening. I'll be reading from Vagabonds, which is my collection of linked short stories, all set in Lagos, well, the underbelly of Lagos. This story is called Nightwind. The devil was already inside Amenze when she walked past Goodies on Awolowo Road. At first, it was squatting inside her small stomach, leaning against the walls and eating ground-up groundnuts from the day before. Then she felt it becoming a fuller presence from her waist, expanding through the width of her chest. "You're hungry," the devil told her. She ignored it. He tried again. "Cross the road." But stubborn girl that she is, she kept walking towards her boyfriend Olu's house. Since the devil's last visit, she had become born again, complete with a choir master boyfriend who wanted to marry her. She wasn't ready to backslide into those unholy days, so she quickened her steps forward because she could hear the devil's voice differently now, not from far down in the gut anymore, but pressing its blurriness against the inside of her throat. The devil becomes in increments, in spurts, until it has taken over the whole form. Amenze knew this, anticipated it, but hoped that if she moved quickly enough, steadily enough, it wouldn't be able to spread itself. "Okay, fine then," the devil said. "Keep going." Amenze stopped and stomped her foot. That's enough. She couldn't stand its tone, and her shoulders tensed at the mocking patience of it. "Just go, leave." The devil laughed. Amenze was trying what Pastor Pius and the Bible had taught her. "Resist the devil," they said, "and it will flee." What she wasn't told is that the devil's entrance into anything is almost always entire. As Amenze seethed, the devil stretched his limbs inside the case of her flesh, legs lengthening inside her own, one, then the other, and after, arms the same, until her flesh fit snug like a jumpsuit. Then he marched her reluctant body towards Chicken Republic. "Are you coming in, ma?" the doorman said, confused. "Yes," the devil said, straightening Amenze's blouse. "Yes, sorry." Inside, the devil headed straight to the counter. It felt Amenze's hunger earlier, but she had refused to eat anything because, of course, now that she was a Bible-believing, saved by grace through faith Christian, she fasted with her church at every opportunity. "Please be fast, ma. Fried rice or jollof rice?" the waiter asked impatient. The devil looked at her through the eyes in Amenze's head, considering ways to deal with her curtness. But deciding that she wasn't even worth the work, replied and said, "You choose for me." The waiter, Chioma, as seen on her name tag, shrugged and ordered one fried rice with chicken. The devil stood aside. The man behind was a UBA driver, and the waitress attended to him better, which assured the devil of her problem. Chioma was one of those desperate ones, leaving all windows in conversation open for any potential husband to creep in. Bored by her predicament, the devil snatched the tray from her and left. Tunde walked in just as the devil was sinking Amenze's teeth into the drumstick. The devil did not need to look up, having smelled him as he walked past the air conditioner. It straightened Amenze's back as Tunde sat by the yellow playground slide opposite and bent to untie his daughter's shoelaces. From the corner of Amenze's eye, the devil watched the daughter disappear into the playground as Tunde moved towards the till. The devil was sat next to a man who was sitting alone. He was watching Sound City on the TV above his head, frame slightly slanted, neck craned upwards, Adam's apple floating under a sheet of skin as he ate. His kind was easy to discern just by looking at him. Thirsty, predictable, would do anything for a gorgeous woman. And between forkfuls of fried rice, the devil dismissed the dull desire to ruin his life. The devil did not take Amenze's eyes off the man as he cleared the spirit. as he cleared her throat and then undid the first 2 buttons of her blouse. It was a way to test the fit, to use the man as one would use a mirror. The man let his neck fall gently, eyes resting on her cleavage. He looked pleased, not even slightly disturbed, aroused even. So the devil, now sure that it had worn the body well, looked away from the man, redid one of the buttons, and returned to the food, opening Amenze's face in a smile. Tunde passed by with 2 dishes and glanced in Amenze's direction. The devil met his gaze, already knowing what he had to lose. For one, his relationship with his daughter. With that, a solid reputation he curated ruthlessly. But the devil was after neither. From this encounter, and with this available body, the devil just wanted sex. Simple. So he pushed the tray of fried rice away and walked towards Tunde, avoiding Chioma's judging eyes from behind the counter. They talked for over 10 minutes before exchanging numbers. The devil dazzled the man so well that for the first time in years, he got that heady feeling of everything but the woman in front of him blurring into a stunning irrelevance. In just that time, the core details were clear. Tunde, real estate developer and single father trying to figure out how to tend to a needy daughter. They were even just on their way to a family friend's house before stopping to get the girl a sandwich, he said. Not a sandwich, Dad, the girl said. A chick whiz, that's what it's called. The little girl startled them, appearing out of nowhere like that. And for the first time, the devil noticed her properly. It smiled at her with Amenze's full teeth. Hey, feisty. I know, Tunde said. This one is serious wahala. The girl ignored them, focusing on her food. Tunde called that evening, and then the next. Of course, the devil said in Amenze's voice, and he called to Tunde. But let's be clear, I'm not here to be a friend. Who said, or for that love crap? The devil liked being a woman, because in a woman's body, the devil liked being a woman, because in a woman's body, where are you? Okay, it could feel the truth. The things the body did when no one was watching, the way it could swallow things, drown parts whole, hide and house people. In a woman's body, it could feel the weight of her kindness, the restraint it takes to know exactly how easy it is to raise a man's life to the ground, but still choose not to. There was something delicious about being that close to being good, but his patience was running thin. So are we doing this or not? The devil asked Tunde. They met at his house. His daughter wasn't there. He had asked his cousin David to do him a favor and babysit her. It wasn't the first time, he said, so it was fine. This time, I told him it was business, Tunde said. Short rush. He knelt on the bed behind her and kissed her shoulders gently. Already, his whole mouth was full of wanting. It is, the devil said, already peeling Amenze's dress off her back. It is business. When Amenze returned into herself, naked under the clingy arm of the stranger, she knew what the devil had done. All she could hear in her head was, what exactly is your life becoming? Chicken Republic? A stranger? It was her mother's voice, reliably judgmental even in death. How would she explain that, even though she was not above making foolish decisions, she wouldn't have gone this far with this man in her right mind? Which mouth would she use to say that she was just walking on her own cheche, only to be shrugged aside and ejected from her own body? It wouldn't make sense. Amenze wriggled out from under Tunde's arm and told him never to call her again. She knew he'll try regardless, because he looked like he would never recover from what had happened. So she blocked his number to save them both distress. Whatever happened in that bed wasn't her own skill, anyway. The devil had been drawn to Tunde's daughter from when he saw her. At the time, she just was not the focus. She could not be, because forget what they say, the devil can only enter a house through an adult. But he had eyes on her, because she looked far too sad for a girl her age, the type which the devil always enjoyed. Later that afternoon, she returned from her Uncle David's. The devil, now restless, aching for a new entrance, entered her room as her father tucked her into bed. "Good night, Daddy," she said. And after kissing her forehead, he said, "Good night, Telema." The devil loved her name, Telema. He lay down on her pillow next to her just as her father turned off the light. Then it entered the unzipped part of Telema's teddy bear's back, where the batteries sleep, and hummed a small sweet song from inside. "Sleep, baby, sleep, baby, sleep." The devil is sexless near a child, so the voice came out sounding like nothing Telema had heard before. Not quite male, not quite female, not quite cartoon. Still, being a mere 6 years old, she wasn't shocked, only grateful to be met halfway with more aliveness. The devil had sensed the secret chattering from under her skin as it introduced itself through a mentor, but it was too desperate for Tunde to think further into it. So now that he was trying to enter the girl's life for the first time, it sang and sang in that sweet tone. The girl hugged the teddy closer to her body so that she could hear the music better. She wanted it too desperately, and it was obvious. So the devil perched on her shoulder. "Sleep, baby, sleep, baby, sleep." The voice was fluid in Telema's ear, reaching close to her brain, spilling onto the pillow. It called sleep quickly. When the devil was sure she was asleep, it entered her head fully, found its space against her skull, and stood there, watching her dream. It made warm sounds, trying to help her sleep unbothered. But things kept falling into each other. Inside her dream, there was a strange man coming close to her body to touch it, and the devil kept trying to warn him away. Go away. But he refused. So the devil smelled the rottenness on the stranger and knew. When the girl woke up, her heart was pounding. The devil, now unmoored by her body's stutter, slid into her chest and found a whole chaos. It took 3 good nights of the devil whispering, "Tell me, what happened? Tell me," for Telema to say, God, please kill Uncle David. Please make him go away." The devil flinched at her mistake, but forgave her immediately. Children have a hard time naming their spirits. You see, they make mistakes. They interchange them all the time. But since no request peered into its ears ever met with silence, questions met with fast answers, desperation with sharp release, the devil asked Telema, "Why? What did he do?" He has bad, painful hands," Telema said, starting to cry. Tunde came in just then, but when he opened the door, the girl pretended to still be asleep, so he kissed her forehead and left. Something about that simple deceit made the devil like her even more. What a cunning child. If any prayer ever deserved to go unanswered, it wasn't hers. The devil sang her back to sleep, and before morning, it had left through her left ear. The devil stood at the edge of Tunde's bed as he slept. His vest was raised to show smooth skin above his boxers. So the devil chose his navel as the door, and then stretched itself out until the body was his, closing Tunde's eyes tighter. Then he conjured David, raising Telema's dress, and touching her in the most senseless place. The devil rolled the scene out in Tunde's head, in the texture of a dream, an unraveled story, a secret flowering open, full and fat in the mind's eye. In the dream, Telema was wearing the same dress she wore the day Tunde slept with the devil. The same dress she had on when he took her to David's house. The devil brought the vision closer so that Tunde could see Telema squirm as she watched her uncle pant and sweat and shake and morph into a grotesque thing. Getting to the part where David took off his belt, wrapped some around his knuckles, and hung its tail over Telema like a dangling threat, instructing her to lie down, the devil, who was still interested in showing Tunde mercy, let the dream cut. When Tunde's body tried to rouse itself, It felt heavy. The devil had exited his flesh, and was sitting on his stomach, pushing his head into the pillow, holding his hands to the sheets, pinning his feet to the bed. He tried to scream, but nothing came out. When the devil let him go, he sat up, muttering, "Jesus, God forbid, Jesus." He knew Telema wouldn't be awake, but he walked to her bedroom with anointing oil in his hands just to be near her. And she looked like such a frail, unharmable thing, upheld and hallowed by clouds of duvet. Of course, he did the most senseless thing. He prayed. He sat by his daughter's sleeping body and prayed. His logic was this: a dark thing revealed was an act of mercy from God, an invitation to cancel something in the spirit realm before it leaked into your real life. This amused the devil, because if it were a good dream, Christians, you know them, the opposite would catch. Tunde would have received it with both hands, trapped it with an amen, and held it in his body, the sheen of a revelation lighting him up from the inside. But you can't blame me, Father, can you? It's easier to take bad news as a warning than as a fact. When the child woke up, he held her close and said, "Baby, you know you can tell me if anyone does anything to you that you don't like, right? Anything bad." And the child said, "Yes, Daddy." And of course, things only ever grow power when you call their names. "I'm here. Daddy is always here. You know that, right?" "Yes, Daddy." So anyway, since Tunde clearly won't be the one to do the necessary, the devil left him. Soon enough, the devil was gawking out of David's wife Funke's eyes as they argued. "The worst part is that you show no fucking remorse," David said, raising his voice now. But as David kept shouting, the devil kept Funke's mouth tied shut so that no words could come out. "You are not sorry," the devil said into her ear. "You're not." And as it had no patience for her guilt, for how hungry she was for forgiveness, it took the rest of her over in seconds. The devil was the one who bent Funke's knees and took David in her mouth, teasing his eyes to the back of his head so that he forgot everything. It was the devil who faked that orgasm, gyrating on the bed as David moved his tongue where it mattered. It was the devil inside Funke's body after, stroking his arm repeatedly, saying, "I love you. Please believe me, it's you I love." Until David was soothed and finally able to sleep. And it was the devil that jolted David out of his bed at 3:22 a.m. and made him unable to fall asleep, so that he would decide to put earphones in and go for a run to clear his head. It was the devil who kept his blood awake and made him sprint up Bordelon Road so that he would have to slow down just as he was approaching the Lekki-Ikoyi Bridge. It was the devil that left him there alone. Sheol, conductor by day and Agberu by night, knows the devil well. He knows when it's coming and he never says no. What for? His own desires are simple. Sheol likes actions and reactions and shepe and blood. That night, since the road was dead, Sheol was dragging his feet, sipping origin and smoking a blunt, looking at his ex-girlfriend Rosa's picture on his BlackBerry. Should I go? Should I not go? This was what he was thinking when the devil perched on his shoulder. Its entrance came as a simple suggestion in Sheol's head. Walk up to that man who has just stopped to breathe. Sheol welcomed it lazily because he felt it, flat as a fact in his chest, that it would be good to just shake that man up, just small, nothing too deep. The man looked like he could use a little surprise in his life. So as David was panting, trying to recover his breath, Sheol strolled across the road towards him, hands in pocket, bathroom slippers slapping against gravel. "Bros," he called. When David did not respond, not even by turning around to ask what he wanted, Sheol chuckled. "Ah, bros, they know they ignore me, especially now as my eye don't red." As he moved, the devil climbed into a pore at the back of Sheol's neck and descended his spine, using each layer of bone as wrong. "Fuck him," the devil instructed, from the bottom of Sheol's back. Sheon didn't want to do that. He didn't want to ram himself into a man's body in a moment of random hunger. He wanted, instead, all of a sudden, to draw blood. And on this particular occasion, that was equally fine with the devil. So, Sheon tapped David on the shoulder, and before the man could turn around fully, collected his jaw in a sharp punch. David could feel the tip of his tongue dangling in a tiny blood pool in his mouth. Sheon wanted to be sorry, now that he could see that David had had earphones in his ears all this time, that he didn't unhear him on purpose. that vague remorse he felt was silenced by the way blood sang through his veins. When he stretched his fingers open, his whole palm was a chorus. It was pleasure enough, and he was trying to stop, he was ready to stop, when he heard the dry voice in his ear asking, is that all? And Sheon was not the type to resist the challenge. The devil wanted all of David's blood to spill away and waste on the road. It wanted a mess so severe that David's face would no longer be a face by the time the sky cracked with new light. So he rose from Sheon's waistline. You see, spirits are like liquid. They take the shape of their container, and the devil poured itself into every part, every bulge, every muscle, filling the whole of Sheon. Easy, Sheon said before he left himself. The devil replied, you don't trust me. Sheon did not trust the devil, but it was too late, because now Sheon was a wordless dangling thing, and all the devil could hear, loud in his new ears, Sheon's real ears, was Telema saying, please kill Uncle David. He has bad, painful hands. It was easy. It took successive belt whippings and a small, eager knife. When it was done, the devil shrank and shrank and shrank inside Sheon until it was small enough to go back to just his waist. Then it climbed up the spine and out into the night. Now, there are many things that the devil has done for itself from Sheon's body, but killing a random man was not one of them. So when Sheon came back to meet his own body on his knees, bent over David's corpse, he didn't believe it at first. He shook the body, pushed it on his back, and saw his knife still deep in David's stomach. Sheon pressed his hand against the chest just to make sure. He heard music, still thudding out of the earphones, but David's body was noiseless, facing the sky, street light pouring coolly on his only intact eye. He's not dead. He's not dead. He cannot be dead. He isn't, Sheon told himself as he ran the curve of bridge. But not even the sound of a necessary lie can match the night wind, growing dark in your ear like the devil's last laugh.